The Giants have fond memories of their postseason trips to Turner Field here in Atlanta. In both 2002 and 2010, San Francisco beat the Braves on their home field to advance in the playoffs. This series is memorable for the Giants as well, as the Braves' 20-year run at Turner Field is coming to a close. The countdown is on as the Giants take on the Braves once again, and it's coming up next. We are in Atlanta as we're coming to you from Turner Field as we get ready for Giants baseball game 2 of this 4-game series, Giants and Braves. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, a better rested team tonight for the Giants after a loss, a Memorial Day loss yesterday, and a big start today for Jake Peavy, who, as you pointed out to me earlier, has never won here.
Yeah, he's never won in Atlanta. Hard to believe for the former Cy Young Award winner to never have a win here at Turner Field. Well, he has a chance to do it tonight on his birthday, and I think it's important for him to back up his last start, which was stellar. He needs to have another good start, 2 good starts in a row. But, hey, if you look at what they've done in May, they've been unbelievable. 20-8 in the month of May. And on the road, they're 12-3. So a lot of good things going. This is the last day of May, and hopefully they can close it out on a good note.
Buster Posey back in the lineup. He'll catch Peavy tonight here in Atlanta. It's Peavy, and it's Matt Whistler. Stay tuned. We'll take you to our CSN Bay Area studios for an update right after this.
is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Baseball on CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's back. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
We've got another game here in Atlanta as the Braves take the field. Our game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. Good time to do that. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 89 degrees here at the yard. Light winds, humidity at 36%, and it is a bit overcast. The lineup that Matt Whistler will be facing, it'll be Span, Panic, and Pence. Buster Posey back in the lineup, and his numbers at Turner Field very good. Belt, Crawford, and Blanco. Connor Gillespie gets a start. He'll hit 8th, and Jake Peavy 9th.
On the hill tonight for the Atlanta Braves will be the right-hander Matt Whistler, 6'3", 205-pounder. He's got just about a year's time at the big league level. And when you take your at-bats against him, you're going to see a fastball that goes low to mid-90s. He's got a curveball, slider, and a changeup. When he hits the spots, he can be very good. 2-4 on the year with a 3.08 ERA. And look at the 3-to-1 strikeout walk ratio. And if you add them all up, he's only given up the 63 base runners and 61 in the third innings. That's outstanding, which explains the 3.08 ERA. Whistler has never faced the Giants.
So here's Whistler going after Denard Span. And the first pitch of the ball game is on its way, and it's wrapped into right field for a base hit. So that's how this game gets started.
The Braves defensively tonight will set it up this way, starting in their outfield from left to right. It'll be Malik Smith, joined by Inciarte and Markakis. Beckham and Garcia on the left side of the infield. Johnson and Freeman on the right side. Tyler Flowers, he'll be in the squad, putting down the signs. Best arm in the outfield, Markakis in right field. It's a good one.
Span was 0 for 3 in the game yesterday, so he opens up the game with a base hit. And now right out of the stretch is Whistler to Joe Panic, and he takes wide. 1 ball and no strikes. Panic yesterday was 1 for 4, hitting at .251. Ironically, the only Giant in this lineup that's ever faced Whistler before is standing on first base with a base hit, Denard Span. Panic gets a high fly ball to left, but Smith has got room. There's always a lot of room in this outfield. And Joe Panik is retired.
Great place to pitch. Not a whole lot of wind tonight, if any. Maybe just a trickling of a breeze. Flags aren't doing a whole lot of moving, but you get a home run here, you got to earn it. Caps are fast. It's moderate speed in the infield. See what Matt Whistler has done at home this year. 0-3 with a 4.180 ERA. On the road, he's been fantastic. 2-1 with an ERA under 2.
Hunter Pence in the third slot tonight. No Matt Duffy as he gets the night off. Pence at 309. Two for 4 yesterday for Hunter Pence. He scored a run. Denard Span with 6 steals. And there's a high something for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Curveball.
Probably get away with that on the first pitch. Not always after that, however.
Yeah, but you know, that's the beauty of a first pitch curveball. I mean, nobody's looking for it. So you flop it over there, take strike 1 out. Especially first time through the lineup. Guys are up there looking fastball normally.
Another breaking ball, and Alan Porter says, yep, that looks pretty good. Porter, the home plate umpire. Noward, Kellogg, and Tom Payne from first to third.
Porter, a low ball umpire. He likes the knees, and his zone can have a little personality to it. It can be big 1 inning. It can tighten up the next. You get high pitches 1 inning and then don't get any more. So it can bounce around a bit.
Double play ball. Beckham to Johnson to Freeman, and that'll end the inning. Peavy's coming out. Inciarte, Beckham, and Freeman coming up. As Jake Beebe takes them out, facing these Atlanta Braves, who have won 3 of 4. It'll be Inciarte, the former Diamondback, then Beckham, Freeman, and Tyler Flowers. Nick Markakis has got pretty good numbers against Jake Beebe lifetime. Kelly Johnson, then it's Garcia. Whistler, the pitcher, hitting 8th, and Malik Smith will hit 9th.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be the right-hander Jake Peavy, 6'1", 180-pounder. Peavy having a birthday today, 35 years of age. He's 14 years at the big league level. This is what he's done this year in 10 starts, 1-5 with a 7.26 ERA. Still just about a strikeout an inning, averaging 8 strikeouts per 9. And for Peavy, you'll see a high 80s, occasional 90-ish fastball that he will sink and cut. He's got a curveball, slider, and a changeup from a low 3/4. The low 3/4 release is a great release for movement, and Peavy will not throw the ball straight.
Here's Inciarte, who takes a strike. Inciarte 0 for 4 in the leadoff spot yesterday. He's got 5 hits and 13 at bats in his career against Jake Peavy. And Peavy hits the outside corner at 90, and it's 0-2.
PV in 10 lifetime starts against Atlanta, 3-4 with a 3.58 ERA. But he's never won here at Turner Field.
Tries to hit that same spot and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Braves have won 3 of 4, and you consider that quite good when their home record is 5-21. This is lifted out into left center field for Span. And Denard Span in those open spaces makes the catch.
Let's take a look at the Giants defensively behind PV tonight, starting in their outfield from left to right. It'll be Blanco, Span, and Pence, the best arm in right field with Pence. Crawford and Gillespie on the left side of the infield. Matt Duffy getting a day, maybe 2, because of getting hit by a pitch yesterday. He's all right, but he needs a couple of days. Panic and Bell on the right side. Buster Posey back in lineup tonight. He'll be in the squat, putting down the signs.
Here's Beckham, and Beckham takes wide. Beckham hitting at 303, so he's off to a nice start. 1 for 4 yesterday. Good pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Beckham has faced PV 6 times. He's 0 for 6. The birthday boy. You mentioned that, right?
Yeah, indeed. 35 years old today.
Yeah, we got another one next door to us.
Dave Fleming?
Dave Fleming. He's a birthday boy.
He's the big 4-0, though.
Here's a high strike, 2-2.
Fleming a bit moldier than Jake Peavy.
Yeah. However, Peavy shaves. There's Dave. 40. Driven to left. Blanco on the track. He makes the catch. Backpedaling, 2 outs.
It gives you an idea of how big this ballpark is. I mean, in a lot of ballparks, that's a round tripper. I thought off the crack of the bat, see you later, and then you go back and you look at Blanco going into left center, and you realize that the alleys here are huge. 380 to left center, 390 to right. It's a great place to pitch, and that's just a big league hang with him.
And look, I don't think I'm that far from the truth when I say that Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz designed the outfield.
I think they had something to say about it.
There's Freeman, who takes a strike.
When you think about Glavine, Smoltz, Maddox, all Hall of Famers. They came up. I mean, they came to the Braves when they had Fulton County Stadium, which was a bandbox and a hitter's paradise. When they built this ballpark, they absolutely had something to say about it.
Peavy's pitch is wide. 1 ball and 1 strike.
As good as they were an organization that went built on bats to an organization built on arms, and they built a ballpark here, I think, accordingly.
In tight to Freeman.
And when you were a Braves fan when they were in Milwaukee, they were a hitting team.
Yeah, and you know that ballpark was a pretty good hitting park. Freeman pulls that down and in pitch foul. Freeman yesterday 1 for 4. Connor Gillespie has moved from third base to the second baseman. So we're going to call that second baseman number 2.
There's second baseman number 2.
Three and 2. And there's a pop-up to shortstop number 1. And that'll end the inning. You knew that was coming, didn't you?
I kind of did.
Yeah, you did. 1-2-3 inning for Peavy. Posey to lead things off.
on CSN Bay Area is brought to you by AAA. Get a free Giants all-season blanket. Restrictions apply. Go to AAA.com/Giants or to a AAA branch for details.
It's the Silver Slugger 3-pack, 3 games starting at $99, including the June 25th game against the Phillies, as the Giants are giving away Madison Bumgarner Silver Slugger bobbleheads to the first 40,000 fans, courtesy of Chevron. 3-pack. Check it out. sfgiants.com/minipacks. Here's Buster Posey at 278. And he fouls this one down the right field line and out of play. Had a pinch hit at bat in the 9th. Hit the ball well off of Vizcaíno, their closer, and reached on an air. Did not start. In the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike.
See Buster Posey at Turner Field. You see how he sprays the ball all around. Guy you really can't exaggerate your defensive shifts too dramatically against.
Good breaking ball. 1 and 2.
Now, this was Buster Posey's ballpark when he was a kid. It opened up when he was 10 years old. He's from Leesburg, Georgia, about 150 miles away. Hard to believe that this will be the last year for Turner Field. We still haven't allowed that to sink in.
Posey pokes one down the right field line. Markakis a long run, and he's going to make the running catch.
All right, time now for our Togo's big play. The Togo's way. Yesterday, Brandon Belt took a first at bat against Mike Fultonevich, and he did this. They tried to jam him. He was looking middle in. Whoop! See you later. And that was home run number 5, a solo shot. We're going to make it our Togo's big play. The Togo's way.
Nice swing. Nice result. Things were looking good at that point.
I was feeling it.
Outside the belt.
Much different clubhouse feel today. There was a little bounce in the step of the Giants club today. They definitely got a good night's sleep.
Two and 0. Uh-oh.
Giraffe sighting?
My goodness. 3 and 0. Uh-oh. It looks odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. The giraffes look odd.
And a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike.
But, I mean, you nicknamed the Brandon Belt the baby giraffe a long time ago, his rookie year. And it got absolutely locked in when they were at the San Diego Zoo earlier this year.
Belt with a 1-hopper to Garcia. That didn't sound right.
Sounded good if you were a pitcher. Sounded bad if you're a hitter.
So here's Crawford. That's not the results you want to see on a 3-1 pitch. Chris Half, the writer for MLB.com, he follows the Giants. It's his birthday. So 3 birthday boys.
Well, happy birthday, Chris. He's one of
He's a good guy.
Baseball's good guys right there.
Also, by the way, Clint Eastwood's birthday today. You know that?
I did not.
Yeah, I got the whole list here. Brooke Shields.
Who's older, her or Clint Eastwood?
Clint. Jordy Nelson, wide receiver. Has to be someone younger than Dave, right? I got another one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Joe Namath. Side retired. Joe turns 73 today.
I want to kiss you.
Bay Area is brought to you locally by Energy Upgrade California. It's easy to stay golden at energyupgradeca.org.
No score as we head to the bottom of inning number 2. Tyler Flowers stands in. Tyler making sure that he's happy with where he's standing. Hitting .262. I blame hitting coaches for all that stuff.
Do you?
Yeah. Make sure you get into a routine. Doesn't matter how long it is, and stick to it.
Well, I agree with you. It's all about rhythm. And it's funny because pitching coaches and hitting coaches are very similar to one thing. Pitching coaches are telling pitchers, you control the tempo of the at bat.
Yeah.
Hitting coaches are telling hitters to do that.
Yeah, I'm not picking on Flowers. There are a lot of guys who do it. This is hit on the ground to Crawford. And Crawford, one Brandon to another. Some guys really do take it to an extreme. Flowers is not a guy that does that. We saw Johnny Cueto and Gerardo Parra get into it in Denver on Sunday. As Cueto really kind of wanted Parra to speed things up a little bit. Markakis hitting at .246 with a home run. 29 runs batted in. This is foul down the left field line and out of play. And the 0-1. Fly ball to right. Span calling off Pence. 2 outs.
I do think that when baseball made an effort a couple years ago to speed the game up, they improved hitters getting in the box. And I don't mean just in a small way. I think it was a significant improvement. It used to border on ridiculous. And if you had a whole lineup full of guys that were deliberate getting in the box, like the Yankees or the Red Sox, I mean, you're talking about an automatic 4-hour game. Just wait for guys to get in the box.
Kelly Johnson rolls it foul. No balls and 1 strike. Well, I mean, look, we constantly talk about pitchers who really take their time, and I think to make things fair, you have to also point out that hitters do it too. Swing. Ain't gonna miss. 1-2. Very odd that Kelly Johnson lifetime against Peavy. 2 for 14 with 8 strikeouts.
Doesn't see him. That's simple.
And now Connor Gillespie is going to go to second base, number 2. Check swing, roller, foul.
But I think if you look at most lineups, you have guys that get in the box, stay in the box. Some guys are a little more deliberate, but for the most part, you have a blend of guys, how they like to take their bats. Same thing about pitchers. Some work quick, some are more deliberate. It's when you get a whole lineup full of guys that think the same way and are deliberate, that's when it starts to drag you down. Or a whole bullpen that's deliberate. It slows things down.
Sounded like a broken bat. Pence comes racing in, still racing in, and he's going to slide and make the catch. Nice play, Hunter Pence, and that'll end the inning. 6 up, 6 down for Peavy. Gregor Blanco is going to lead things off. Take care of business. Hunter Pence, no score.
on CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Clipper. For work, play, and all points between, use Clipper instead of cash to pay for transit.
No score is Gregor Blanco leads off here in the top of the third. On the pitch, foul behind Billy Hayes. We're at Turner Field, the last year that the Braves will play here. Thursday will be the last game the Giants play here. In some ways kind of sad, in other ways move on.
Kind of exciting.
Out of play down the left field line, nothing in two.
I mean, I think this yard's got a lot of years left in it. Like this ballpark, always have. But a new ballpark, pretty cool.
There you go.
Had a bit. Gregor Blanco came up with the Atlanta Braves.
Look out.
Originally signed back in 2001. Got to the big leagues with the Braves in 2008. Played with the Braves, Kansas City, and found a home in 2012 with the Giants, and has been here ever since. He's been a great Giant.
Made the club as a non-roster invitee. There's a pitch high, 1-2.
Good 0-2 pitch right there. Like, you think about all the moments that he's had in a Giants uniform. I mean, a lot of moments that guys would crave to have in their career.
Are you kidding?
To define their career.
Got him. Tuesday the 7th of June, Wednesday the 8th of June. The Red Sox join us at AT&T Park for the 2-game series. You can enjoy big savings to see David Ortiz. $34 tickets in honor of number 34's last regular season game at AT&T Park. The code is Big Papi at checkout. Here's Connor Gillespie, first strikeout for Whistler. And Gillespie looked like he was taking all the way. 0-1. Jake Peavy to follow. Cued off the end of the bat. Garcia at third. 2 outs. So here's Peavy. Peavy's 3 for 14.
Peavy will give you good at bat. Good athlete.
I'd say Gillespie better hurry up. He's going to get hit right in the back of the head.
Well, that could happen.
You do have to walk quite a ways to get back into that dugout.
But as far as it is, and they say that the new ballpark is going to be about half of what the foul territory is that they have in the ballpark now. The foul territory that they have now is probably half of what they used to have at Fulton County Stadium. You used to get half-day meal money going from the dugout to the mound. Fulton County Stadium, a multi-purpose field.
Well, it was a lot like Candlestick and the Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah, a lot of foul territory.
On the ground to short, where Beckham is going to throw to first, and he kind of threw a lob that wasn't close to the bag, but Freeman had plenty of time to tag Peavy. Bottom of the third coming up.
All right, now it is time for greater coverage of baseball. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. We go back to August 3rd, 2015. Right here at Turner Field, Kelby Tomlinson got his first big league knock. He had a pinch hit single in the top of the 12th inning, and it lit up his family that were there in attendance.
Always a cool moment.
There's his
Tiffany
wife
on the
Tiffany,
left.
his dad Bob. Hey Bob. His father-in-law, I beg your pardon.
Bob. No balls and 1 strike. Garcia hitting .252, and this is a soft line drive on 1 hop. 1 out. And here's Whistler.
So for Kelby Tomlinson, they're going to tear down his. Well, I guess they're not going to tear the ballpark down, but they're taking it out of the league where he got his first big league knock. That's bad.
It is.
What ballpark did you get your first big league knock in?
Cleveland. At least I got a seat from that place.
Yeah. Wrigley Field still standing. I'm happy about that.
Whistler takes a strike. 1 for 18 this year for Matt Whistler.
There's a lot of guys in our generation that can't say that the ballpark they got their first big league knock is still standing.
PV at 90, so he's been pretty consistent at that velocity.
Well, he's moved the ball around tonight too, and he's also controlled the knee-high location.
Look out. Malik Smith, who was the villain yesterday. Didn't like Malik's very much yesterday.
Oh, he had the big hit, bases loaded triple against Jeff Samardzija. Got him. Curveball, strikeout number 1.
Here is Malik Smith.
We are getting some information about the new ballpark that the Braves will move into next year. It's not going to be as big seat-wise as Turner Field. They say that the seat capacity is going to be about 41,500, just about the same size as AT&T.
Peavy thought he had a strike.
I thought he had a strike.
1 ball and no strikes.
I think Malik Smith thought it was a strike.
I think he did too. I agree.
Set up in the outside or the inside corner.
Could be a strike.
Alan Porter said no. No.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Threw that ball right by him.
Well, this is Jake Peavy weather. He's from the south.
Peavy, an Alabama boy.
There's the bunt. And Posey said, let me take care of this. And he does. What a great play.
It's a go play.
And that's going to end the inning as Peavy went down. He may have went down to avoid a collision, but a nice play to end the 3rd.
area is brought to you by Amici's East Coast Pizzeria. When you want the best pizza in town, Amici's delivers.
No score as we head to inning number 4. It'll be Span, Panic, and Pence. Span has the only hit, and he's been the only base runner in this game. Wiped out on a double play ball hit by Hunter Pence. Kelly Johnson to his left. 1 out.
Well, let's take a look at the bunt attempt from Malik Smith and the fine defensive play from Buster Posey. Because Smith gets down that line well. I mean, it's going to give you about 4 seconds to make the play, maybe even less. Come out, barehander, 360, and absolute Steve Reich. And they wind up getting him.
Buster saying, "You all right? You good?" The beauty of that play by Buster Posey is you got to, when you spin around and do that 360, you got to at some point pick up your target. Panic hit a fly ball to left field. Fouls this one down the left field line into level number 2. Joe Panic right now right at 250. 5 home runs, 19 driven in. Leans back, a 1-2. With Hunter Pence to follow. Got him. So that breaking ball froze Panic. 2 strikeouts now for Whistler. And here's Pence. Pence hit into a double play. He did hit the ball sharply. But sharply right at Beckham at short.
Big Buster Posey fan. We see a lot of them here.
Buster's autograph too. Skied to right in the park for Markakis, and Whistler's going to have another 1-2-3 inning. Top of the order coming up to face Peavy. That'll be Inciarte. It's 0-0. Choice yesterday. Chris Stratton made his major league debut, and what did he do? Well, you got Garcia on a fly ball to center. You got Markakis on a swing and a miss. You got Kelly Johnson on a swing and a miss, and that's our Ford right choice. Nice job, Chris Stratton.
Well, he had a lot of people in attendance. His wife, his son, mom,
About 20,
dad,
he said.
in-laws. great.
Pitch for free. Inciarte hit a fly ball to center field in the first. Fouls this one back and out of play. I'll say this about both teams. They're not waiting around.
See ball, hit ball, run like crazy. Simple philosophy tonight. It's the getaway day philosophy, and it's not getaway day.
Cued foul. It's 0-2.
But I mean, both teams I think have identified that both guys on the mound tonight are strike throwers, and they're up there aggressive.
Beckham on deck. On the ground, Belt. Underhands to Peavy. Just like they draw it up in spring training. 1 out.
No, you're right. That was textbook perfect. Jake Peavy, the last 4 starts really has improved with this fastball. The last 4 starts, the opponents are hitting 219 against it. Look at the ground ball ratio. He's getting the ball down around the knees. He's using his natural sink, and he's getting about 20, well, exactly 20% more ground balls than he was earlier in the year in his first 6 starts.
Beckham hit a fly ball to the warning track in left field. Here he takes a high strike, and it's 0-1. Beckham hit right at 300. This could be playable for Buster Posey. The on-deck circle right there, and he makes the catch up against the screen. 2 down.
You never know what you're going to get when you start going over by the opposing team's on-deck circle. Could be a lead bat there, a couple of donuts. There could be a lead pipe. There could be a couple of pine tar rags, a Manny Mota gum stick. Posey unfazed.
You know, the one thing that you don't see is that on-deck hitter cleaning off the on-deck circle for the catcher.
No, you do not.
Gillespie at second base, number 2, and there's a called strike. 0-2.
Nice little cutter.
Down low, 1-2. One base runner in the game, and that's Span to open up the game with a base hit. That's it.
Good 0-2 pitch down the dirt. Freddie Freeman will definitely chase below the strike zone.
Foul.
Freeman has a swing that really is like nobody else's. It stays inside the ball beautifully. I mean, you could throw a pitch down and in. He could yank it over the fence in right field. He could inside out it over the fence in left field. I mean, he's got that kind of ability.
There's a foul back.
And he missed a good pitch right there.
And another 1-2 pitch. Here it is to Freddie Freeman. And he got him. And that'll end the inning. Like you said, he may fish. Posey, Belton, Crawford coming up. No score.
crisp Coors Light. We go back to the 2008 Major League Draft, the top 10 picks. Well, Tampa Bay had the first pick. They took Tim Beckham, then Pedro Alvarez, Eric Hosner, Brian Matus, Buster Posey, 5th round pick by the Giants out of Florida State, Kyle Skipworth, Yonder Alonso, Cincinnati, and then number 8, Gordon Beckham out of the University of Virginia, Aaron Crow, Jason Castro. Pretty good bunch right there.
Jason Castro from Castro Valley.
It's our cold hard facts.
Here's Buster Posey. You think Buster has all the players that were drafted in front of him memorized, like Draymond Green?
Yeah, well, you know, he might. You always got to remember
I bet
4
he
names.
has a pretty good idea, but Buster only had, what, 5 guys in front of him?
4.
Draymond like 30. There's a drive to right. Markakis back, and he'll put it away on the track. Festus Ezeli, this is our Geico quote on Steph Curry in Game 7. Steph is Steph. Steph is going to Steph. He came out and showed why he is the MVP. Yes, indeed. It was fun to watch. 36 points last night. 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 turnovers. Those don't count.
No, pretty amazing game. Congratulations, Warriors. Job well done.
Yeah, you know, talk about all the guys that performed well, but Steve Kerr, congratulations, fabulous. 1-0 pitch.
Right, it's good to see Steve Kerr back on the sidelines doing what he does best, coach. Of course, he was a great broadcaster too. I kind of miss him as a broadcaster.
Yeah, I do too. Foul, out of play, 2 balls and 1 strike. Brandon Crawford wanted to give that ball away, and he can't throw it over the screen.
Yes, the new screen. The new protective pieces around baseball, mandated by league office.
I think Bell thought that was outside. It's 2-2.
They have been pretty much one-dimensional in this at bat as to how they're going at him. It's been all 2-seam sinkers, all fastballs mid-90s with movement running away from Belt, and they're standing in that outside corner. Another one.
Pretty good take right there. And Belt rolls that 3-2 pitch foul.
So finally a breaking ball and a 3-2 count, and a good one. See why Whistler's been using the fastball, and this year he's really improved with it. Last year he hit 304 with this year 212. A lot of it has to do with his 2-seam grip.
And Belt takes the walk, second base runner for the Giants.
And second time tonight that Whistler will get in his stretch position.
All right, so this guy's taking it very serious.
Well, look at everybody behind him left.
Yeah. Does he have a glove?
Yeah, he's sitting behind the screen with a glove. That is an optimist right there.
That is an optimist. Maybe he figures that Malik Smith is going to make an errant throw from left to third.
Yeah, I think that could happen. We need to get that guy a ball.
In tight Crawford.
Well, here's where he's sitting.
You can't possibly put that on your head without checking with the people behind you when they come to the park.
Yeah.
Even at that, 2 seats behind you, it's got to be a pain. Crawford out of play. This one down the left field line into the upper deck. So you think maybe after Belt takes his at bat, then you take the giraffe off your head.
Well, that's what you'd think. But hey, if you bring it, you got to go with it. And they are leading the league in horse laps right now.
Bell to is 0 for 4 in the stolen base department. Gets back easily.
As he had his green light taken away.
Yeah. Turned off. Crawford on the ground towards the hole. Garcia to Johnson to Freeman, and that'll end the inning. The last base runner the Giants had was wiped out in a double play. 0-0.
Area is brought to you by Mr. Pickle's Sandwich Shop, where the aliens have landed and taken off with sandwiches.
No score as we head to the bottom of inning number 5. Peavy's been perfect through 4 innings. Flowers bounced out to Crawford in the second. First pitch is wide, 1 ball and no strikes.
Not by much. Even when he misses tonight, he's close to that strike zone.
And a base hit, and that's the first one for the Braves tonight, and it opens up the 5th.
Well, check out the Memorial Day game used online auction. The items will include starting pitcher Jeff Samardzij's jersey, Buster Posey's cap, one-of-a-kind locker tags from the entire Giants team. If you want more information, go to sfgiants.com/game-used-auction. Auction is tomorrow night, June 1st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, that's sfgiants.com/game-used-auction.
Markakis hit a fly ball to center field in the second. And a strike at the knees. Flowers with catcher's speed at first. Way outside as that slipped out of the hand of Peavy. 1 ball and 1 strike.
First time out of the stretch, the longer it takes to get in the stretch, the longer it takes you to get the feel of the stretch. Just an old adage that has been around baseball for 134 years, at least Giants baseball. But it's true. It takes you a few pitches to get reestablished down around the knees. So you have about a 3 or 4 pitch vulnerability, which is the norm. And when you miss, usually you miss up.
And a quick snap throw, and Flowers back on the dive.
Flowers, the catcher. Not really a baseball stealing threat.
Two balls and a strike as that pitch is away.
Flowers has 2 lifetime stolen bases.
At the knees, 2-2. Good pitch by Peavy.
Atlanta has hit into 43 double plays this year. Their team, their pitchers, have induced 29.
Markakis steps out. Flowers with his lead, not a big one. Hit out into the gap, but Blanco has got a beat on it. Markakis retired, and that'll bring up Kelly Johnson. Johnson hit a pop-up that Hunter Pence raced in and made a sliding catch on, and he did that in the second inning. Fouled off the backstop, and it's 0-1. No overshift, but the Giants are playing Johnson to pull in the infield. On the ground, panic. Crawford, belt, double play. Very nicely done. Blanco is going to hit first.
By Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com.
No score as we head to the 6th. Interesting day here at Turner Field for the Braves. before the ball game, Jason Grilli, one of their really fine pitchers, signing autographs, walked back into the dugout, never to be seen again. One of the folks from the media department said, hey, you need to go see the manager, the GM, or maybe even the guy that's setting up your plane trip to Toronto, as the Braves acquired a minor league right-hander by the name of Sean Radcliffe, and Grilli is headed to Canada.
Well,
it's good for him.
Picks up 12 games in the win column just like that.
Here's Blanco. Blanco struck out looking in the third, and he takes a ball low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Grilli originally a draft pick from the Giants. They had a nice career despite some pretty serious injuries.
Outside to Blanco. Connor Gillespie on deck. Giants have had 2 base runners, a single and a walk. Blanco hits one very sharply on the ground to Kelly Johnson. 1 out.
Well, Tuesday, June 14th is Autism Awareness Night. Your special event package will include a game ticket to see the Giants take on the Brewers and a limited edition Will Clark themed Giants long sleeve shirt. Proceeds from every special event ticket will be donated directly to nonprofits in the autism community to aid in their ongoing mission. Go to sfgiants.com/special events. Will Clark will be there that night, as he always is.
It's always great to see the thrill. Here's Gillespie, a slow roller to third. This time he ropes one into center field, but it's going to carry right out to NCR. Sometimes there's no justice in hitting.
You're right, and that was an example of it. And a 1 pitch out.
Jake Peavy is going to try to get on the board here, as he's going to try to lift one over the fence. That's my call.
Why not?
A little backyard baseball. Lift and separate, just don't throw out your back. Here it is, gone. Foul down the left field line. Hey, we got to get something going here.
I know.
Goodness.
I think he was thinking bleachers with that hack. Hit it like you here, live, Jake. Hard and clean. Came out of his shoes on that one.
And look at Whistler, recognizes it right away.
Starts nibbling.
Well, stays away.
It's respectful.
Staying away again. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ground ball up the middle. And a base hit. Peavy disappointed, so are we, that it didn't leave the park, but he is aboard.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll take a 2-out knock. Looking for something out over the plate. That was on a tee. Thank you, very nice. Now with 2 outs, this is a perfect situation for Peavy to try and steal, and I'm not joking. Broken bat single right there.
So if you can't hit one out, then get into scoring position by using your other talents like speed.
Well, he does run pretty well. They're not going to hold him on. If you steal a base, you're in scoring position. If you're throwing out, then you get to lead off next inning with the leadoff hitter Span. So this is a go situation. I mean, if you really think about it, it's not a bad play.
Peavy goes, and a drive into the gap, and Peavy's going to score. Unbelievable. Span is going to go to third. Make sure Peavy gets home before the throw to third. He does, and Span's got a triple. He does not score if he's not going. And greatest call ever by my partner. And I'm not lying.
Denard Span, who's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight against Whistler, jumps on a first pitch and finds a gap. And with the gaps here at Turner Field, if you've got some speed and a 9-step head start, you got a chance. And Peavy, as we said, is athletic, an easy scorer. And for Denard Span, he too, an easy 3-bagger.
Here's Panic, and Panic takes a strike.
Well, he needed to do that. He needed to take at least one strike, because right now Peavy's in the dugout looking for air.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 at-bats for Span, 3 pitches. Joe, take a few more pitches, Joe.
Yeah, please. If you could, hit about 8 fouls, too.
Buster actually thinks it's... Joe, take this 2-0 pitch, even if it's down the middle.
But you know what, though? Those are the moments you love and miss in the dugout. Because you see a pitcher, a 35-year-old pitcher on his birthday, having to run the bases, score from first.
I don't see Rags thinking any of this is funny.
No.
One and 2 to Panic. Panic skies one to center field. That's not going to do it. Inciarte will put it away, and that'll end the inning. PV a single, Span a triple. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 1-0 Giants.
On CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
The #1 live streaming sports service is MLB TV Premium. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD. It includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Visit MLB.TV for details. We're going to use it very soon when the Cubs and Dodgers game comes on. I know they've had some weather there. Garcia, Whistler, and Smith here in the 6th. Sounds like a law firm. And that's foul down the right field line and out of play.
Does sound like a law firm. Aren't those the mesothelioma guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, you always watch how a pitcher does when he has to score for first base on a double or a triple like Peavy. How he does the next inning.
Two balls and one strike.
I played ball with a guy, and you know him, Mike Cuellar, Puerto Rico.
I know him only because I faced him.
Well,
he was good too, by the way.
He was really good. And he was a smoker.
Hit well to right. Pence on the move. Still on the move. Pence makes the catch in front of the wall. Nice play, Hunter Pence.
Love this ballpark. 390 to right center, and he used just about all of this. Adonis Garcia has had good power. He can hit the ball to right field, and he almost does here. This is not quite as hard to hit it out as it is for a right-hander at AT&T, but it's close. Big out.
Whistler. So what about Cuellar?
So Cuellar has to score from first base. 2 outs. He scores. Now all of a sudden, boom. Next guy up, out. So he's got to go back out the mound. Before he goes out the mound, he goes to the trainer. He says, "Let me borrow your scissors," and he cuts his shoelace. Right down the middle. Walks out to the mound. Starts playing catch. All of a sudden, hey, my shoelace broke. Timeout. So the kid goes in the clubhouse, comes out, and they relace the shoe right there. Well, you get an extra 3 minutes.
Had a schmag.
Well, no, he stayed out the mound, but I mean, he found some air. It's almost like he'd done it before.
I know what I'd have done. I'd have gone in the dugout and had somebody relace the shoe, and that'd have been good for at least half a schmag.
Yeah.
Breaking ball. Got him.
Does not look like Jake Peavy is suffering, and that he does indeed have his wind. But remember, think about the first clubhouse I walked into in 1976. There was 30 guys, all but 3 smoked.
Yeah, everybody smoked back then. You're right.
Now nobody smokes, or very few do.
Dave Garcia, you know Dave, in baseball for a long time, still alive. He's 95. He told me that when he was in the minor leagues and managed, he had one guy that played every day that he would pick out. And he had this routine. This is skied to right. Hunter Pence moving over. And he'll make the catch, and that'll end the inning. I'll finish that story when we come back. Dave Garcia probably watching. 1-0 Giants. Dealer. It's been all about pitching here at Turner Field. By the way, if you look at that, the lights are on here. It's Whistler who's throwing the ball great, and Peavy's throwing the ball even better. As Hunter Pence is going to lead things off. Pence on the first pitch pops it into shallow center field, and it's going to be Inciarte who makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Talking about pitchers maybe trying to catch their breath, or bullpen needs a little more time. But Dave Garcia in the minor leagues said he'd pick out one guy and he'd teach him this routine, and it was always an infielder, about a bee getting down the back of his jersey, and you start ripping your uniform off. And in the meantime, the bullpen has got all kinds of time.
They get loose.
He said, and never one time did an umpire ever go, really? Prove it. Where's the bee? Right? I mean, you see a guy starting to tear off his jersey. He said it worked every time. Posey's hit 2 fly balls to right field. 2 balls and no strikes. I don't know if guys do that anymore.
Well,
be creative.
Yeah, it works.
2-0 pitch to Buster Posey. Foul back.
I mean, you say guys in football the longest time just fake an injury. Could happen at any play. Just go down. Now they have a rule against it.
Right.
So many guys did it.
That's right.
Guys flop in soccer. They flop in basketball. It's hard to flop in baseball.
I don't know. I flopped a few times. I think, however, though, that it was like quite a few hours after the game.
Yeah. Buster did not like this call. Fastball with a 2-seam movement off the plate. He thought that was inside. It's the first time we've seen that pitch called a strike tonight.
On the ground, and Kelly Johnson is going to go down to his left and make the play. No luck for Buster Posey tonight.
Good at bat. I mean, he took that breaking ball and went to right field. Stayed inside it beautifully. They had pinched him towards second base. You can see where Johnson sets prior to the pitch, but a nice first step. Didn't have a lot of time because of how hard that ball was hit. It became an easy play. It's a big league hang with him.
Here's Belt. Belt is 0 for 1. He walked in the 5th. Swing and a miss. A little tardy. No balls and 1 strike.
A lot of 2-seam fastballs on that outside corner tonight for Brandon Belt.
Overshift is on for Brandon Belt. Little flare to left, but not far enough to get over the head of Garcia. 1-0 Giants. Here in Atlanta, it's a 1-0 lead. And for the Braves, top of the order, Ender Inciarte. And a call strike.
65 pitches here with nobody out at the bottom of the 7th inning.
Inciarte 0 for 2. And Peavy kind of got caught in between, so he stopped. Now he's ready. And this is to Panic. 1 out. And here's Beckham.
Beckham had one of the best at bats of the night against Peavy back in the 1st inning. He took a fly ball to left field right to the warning track. Hit it well.
Out of play down the right field line.
And that really was the best ball that this Braves team has hit against Peavy tonight.
And that and the one that put Pence up against the wall. Those two. The one hit by Garcia.
Adonis Garcia, that led off the 6th. That was a well hit ball.
Beckham played a lot of second base for the White Sox. Played some second base, I'm sure, when Jake Peavy was on the mound. A little grunt from Peavy, 1 and 2. That grunt got him up to 90. Sometimes it just makes you feel good when you do it. It's a release.
Yeah, it's good to grunt.
Foul back.
It's great when Nolan Ryan used to face Bob Brentley. Could always tell how hard Nolan Ryan was throwing because he would grunt when he would throw the fastball, and Brentley would grunt when he was swinging the bat. So it would sound like, I mean, that's how fast he threw.
Well, problem with that is Ryan did not have much sense of humor.
He had none sense of humor.
They are underway in Chicago. Beckham bounces this one foul.
The crossfire, he really dropped down with a low arm angle on that last pitch.
So he was pitching for the Chicago Cubs.
Arrieta. Jake Arrieta.
Jake, I haven't lost yet.
That's the guy.
Steven Strasburg, I haven't lost yet.
Yeah.
Long at bat now between Peavy and Beckham. Peavy went off the mound onto the grass to catch a bit of a breather. 89 degrees at first pitch.
Oh, that's perfect right now. Absolutely perfect. Peavy icing him down, really taking some time.
And another foul out of play.
Peavy's never had a no-hitter. He's never had a one-hitter. He's had 3 two-hitters. Last time he did it was 2008 against the Dodgers, who he owns.
Peavy ran that right in on his hands, and Beckham fouls it back.
He wants this break of all the dirt.
Hit on the ground to Belt. Belt gets to it on a short hop. And Beckham goes down, and see if he gets up okay. Once in a while that'll happen to you when you lean a little bit to get to the bag. And then he flipped that bag twice. And that's how you get turf toe right here. Remember Cody Ross almost ended his career, almost cost him his leg.
Had a hip injury.
Yeah. Here's Freeman 0 for 2. If you're Peavy right here, you keep Freeman in the park. In tight.
Javier Lopez starting to heat up.
Javier Lopez and his family live here. This is where they have decided to call home, as this is lifted into left center field. Span got a good jump. He's there, and that'll end the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning for Jake Peavy. For the Giants, Crawford's going to lead things off. One in this date, 1964. It happened at Shea Stadium. The Giants swept a doubleheader against the Mets, but that's not the story. Juan Marichal threw a complete game, 8-hitter, but game 2 was the one that was special. Gaylord Perry pitched 10 shutout innings out of the bullpen. Willie Mays played shortstop for 3 innings. Mets turned to triple play. Giants won 8-6. 7 hours and 23 minutes. How about that? That's our McDonald's true story.
That's a long time.
Here's Crawford. Crawford 0 for 2. And it's low. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah. So 83. Gaylord's with the Mariners. I was with the Giants, and I was still afraid of him.
Well, we still are.
Well, look. The last thing you want to be is a rookie if Gaylord Perry's on the team, and a guy that is just coming off winning Cy Youngs and winning 20 games 3 years in a row. It was.
Hey,
do not make eye contact.
He made you better.
Lent Tommy Smith and I a car. He had 2 cars. He said, yeah, take mine. We left a hot dog wrapper in his car when we returned it. One hot dog wrapper.
Yeah.
And he made us wash the car in front of the whole team.
Well, I think he made a good point.
I'll never ever forgive him for that as Crawford takes the walk.
And that's a leadoff base runner for the Giants.
That was just one of the few things that he made us do. Blanco is struck out and he's bounced out to second.
Yeah. The way things are going right now, and as good as Whistler has been, and the fact that every time the Giants have got a man on first base with one exception, he's got the next guy to hit into a double play. You might see a play here.
You might.
You might even see a bunt. Depends on how Ochi wants to play this.
1 ball and no strikes on the pitch high. Giants have hit into 51 double plays, and that's a top in the major leagues.
And you've got good speed on the base pads. You got good speed in the batter's box.
Down the left field line and out of play. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Like, you got to have 3 components to have a good hit and run. Number 1, you've got to have a guy in the batter's box that has bat control and you can count on to make contact. Number 2, you got to have pretty good speed at first base. Number 3, you got a pitcher. You have to have a pitcher who's around the plate.
Yep.
You can't put on a hit and run if you've got a wild pitcher out there.
Billy. He's easy down there. Billy Hayes thought that was going to get him.
Giants first base coach.
There's Billy Hayes. Hard Billy. Two balls and 1 strike. If you just joined us with 2 outs in the 6th inning, Jake Peavy hit a little seeing eye ground ball up the middle for a base hit. And then with Peavy running with Span at the plate, Span drilled a triple into right center field and Peavy scored. And my partner predicted all of that to happen. He did. It's on tape. It's proof. Soft toss. Crawford back.
Well, Brian Snitker think that there's something that quite possibly could happen right now. 2-1 count. I mean, this is a count you need to get in that strike zone with. You really want to avoid the 3-ball count. And that makes it a pretty good pitch to hit and run with if you believe that guy in the batter's box is going to make some contact for you.
Crawford does not go, and that's out of play. 2-2.
What I've been impressed with tonight from Whistler is the 2-seam movement on his fastball. It's a guy that came over to the Braves in a trade with San Diego involving Craig Kimbrell, former Braves closer. Melvin Upton came over to San Diego. Whistler just really is learning his craft, and the 2-seam fastball has been a really good add to his pitches.
Down the left field line and out of play. It looked like Crawford was thinking about going, but then he stopped abruptly. Connor Gillespie's on deck. One nothing Giants. Only 4 hits in this game. Really playing on the line is Malik Smith in left field. He's out of the picture.
He is out of the picture, literally.
Outside. 3-2. And now you've got the luxury of sending Crawford. And it doesn't have to be a hit and run. Crawford goes. And a bullet down the right field line. Markakis cuts it off. They're going to hold Crawford at third wisely by Roberto Kelly. And Gregor Blanco in a long at bat doubles to put runners at second and third.
Nice at bat indeed, and it has to feel good for Gregor Blanco, who broke into this ballpark as a big leaguer. It's a good pitch down and in, just drops the head on it. Oh, it was raked. And with Brandon Crawford running, you think maybe it might be a chance to score, but Markakis has a good arm. He gets that ball back to the cutoff man quickly. And with nobody out, Roberto Kelly at third base holds up Brandon Crawford. And that's going to end the night for Matt Whistler.
Brian Snitker comes out to get Whistler when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and brake experts. We'll be back.
SFN All-Star Teacher Program. It recognizes a teacher do indeed make a difference. The 2016 All-Star Teacher brought to you by Provident Credit Union. You can vote at csnbayarea.com/AST. The winner will receive $20,000 for his or her school, so please go to csnbayarea.com/AST and vote. New pitcher now for the Atlanta Braves will be the left-hander Hunter Cervenka. Cervenka, big guy, 6'1", 250, rookie year. Take a look at what he has done in 23 games. No record yet with a 3.07 ERA, 18 strikeouts in 14 2/3. He's going to give you a low to mid-90s fastball with a curveball and a slider. This is a guy who played 5 minor league teams last year, one of which was an independent league. Comes to camp this year as a minor league free agent. Makes the team, and here he is, and he's working hard. As I mentioned, 24th time he's come in.
Kelby Tomlinson pinch hits for Gillespie. Infield is in, and the pitch is down low. This is an important at bat because Jake Peavy is on deck, and I'm quite sure Bruce Bochy does not. Well, he'd rather not take Peavy out of the game. He's pitching well, but he might. And now we're going to find out, because they're going to walk Tomlinson, and Peavy's being pulled back, and it's going to be Duffy. So Duffy, who's going into the game, I would think, to play third, is going to hit. Well, Jake, nice job.
Well, he was fantastic tonight, and this was a huge start for him because now he's backed it up. He's put in 2 good outings in a row. And you can see the relief on his face. This meant the world tonight for Jake Peavy. And he also did it with a bat. A 2-out knock back in the 6th inning. And this set it up for Denard Span, who knocked Peavy in with a triple. The very next hitter finds a gap in right center. Peavy would score all the way from first base. Trucking. Atta bib. So Jake Peavy tonight, outstanding.
Snitker comes back out. And we're going to get a pitching change. I think we are.
Well, indeed we are.
Well, how about just telling the guy in the bullpen you're in? So it's 1-0. Bases are loaded. And we'll be back. Tomorrow night, and we'll have it for you right here on CSN Bay Area. Pregame live will start at 3:30, and then we'll have the game for you right at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock. Get complete pre and post game coverage and Giants insider Alex Pavlovich on CSNBayArea.com. Join us tomorrow.
New pitcher now for the Braves will be the right-hander Chris Withrow. Take a look at what Withrow's done in 12 games since being called up. 2.89 ERA. 9 1/3 innings. He's allowed 13 base runners, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts. You're going to see a fastball that can go low 90s. He will sink and cut it. He's got a curveball, and a slider and a changeup. Withrow got to the big leagues with the Dodgers, was doing well, and Tommy John. He actually got traded while he was rehabbing from Tommy John. And here he is in the Braves bullpen. Got 3 years of big league experience.
And it's Duffy. Remember, Duffy got hit by a pitch yesterday, came out of the game, got hit on the left wrist. Here he takes a strike on the outside corner. 0 for 2 yesterday. He does like to hit with the bases loaded. He's a lifetime .380 hitter. And that pitch is high.
Cutter, cutter, cutter. That really does feed the swing of Matt Duffy, who's got a real good opposite field approach. Hits a lot of balls in right field. The best arm in the Braves outfield is in right field with Nick Markakis. And you've got pretty good speed with Crawford at third. So the medium fly ball should get the job done. It is a fly ball situation.
In tight to Duffy. 2 balls and 1 strike. You just saw the runners Crawford, Blanco, and Tomlinson. 2-2.
Takes out the inside corner, down and in with that cut. So 3 cutters and a fastball. Everything has been hard. And now in a 2-strike count, he's got to protect.
Hits it out to right. Crawford tagging. Markakis catching. Here's the throw. It is offline. Crawford scores. It actually hit Crawford. And the Giants lead 2-0. So sacrifice fly for Matt Duffy. Nice at bat.
Yeah, indeed it was. Took that cutter out to right field. It took on Markakis' arm. He had good momentum coming into the throw. And as Crawford was touching home plate, the ball indeed did hit him.
We're going to get another pitching change as Brian Snitker comes out.
Well, as they used to say in the service during World War II, if you got him, use him.
Isn't it if you got him, smoke him?
Same thing.
Hey, we just left Denver. 2-0 Giants.
Of the San Francisco Giants. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
Back here at Turner Field, where the Giants have picked up a run here in the 8th inning. A couple of walks, a double, and a sacrifice fly. And this will be the 4th pitcher in this inning.
New pitcher will be Eric O'Flaherty. Take a look at what he has done in 23 games, 1-3 with a 7.07 ERA. 23 base runners allowed in 14 innings, 19 by hit, 4 by walks. You're going to see a fastball that goes low 90s with a hard slider. He's also got a changeup, but against lefties, you're not going to see many of those.
Infield is in for Span. Span's had a nice game. He's 2 for 3, a single and a triple. Low, 1 ball and no strikes. Giants are 2-2 on this trip. They will end this road trip with 3 games in St. Louis. St. Louis always very tough.
That's one of those series you don't even look at the win-loss column of the team. You just know it's going to be Cardinals Giants. It's going to be tough.
There's a call strike. Cardinals coming into today's action 27-25 behind Chicago and Pittsburgh in the Central. 1-1 to Denard Span. Span reaches out and fouls it off the backstop. 1-2.
So Jake Peavy on his birthday dealt 7 strong innings, 1 hit allowed. Gave his team a chance to win, and they're trying to add on right now.
Span will try to put it in play. And a nice play by Flowers. It's 2-2. Blanco at third, Tomlinson at second, so the Giants have as good a speed as they're going to get. Big chopper into right field, a base hit. 1 run is going to score. It's going to be Blanco. Tomlinson goes to third, and it's 3-0.
Well, that's the beauty of a drawn-in infield. Get a high chopper.
3 hits now for Denard Span.
So you can close the books on Matt Whistler. Those 3 runs are all his. Ball hits high on that dirt right out in front of home plate. And Kelly Johnson had none chance.
Here's Panic. Joe Panic 0 for 3. This half inning has taken longer than the 7 innings previous to this.
Well, it feels like it. The first 7 innings were extremely fast.
Panic with a bunt, and this is going to be a beauty, and Panic is going to beat it out, and a run comes in, and it's 4-0. It'll be 4-0 whether they challenge the call at first or not.
The Braves indeed are looking at it. This is such a great play if you've got a guy who can bunt, because you're not really risking anything. It's not a straight squeeze.
Well, it depends upon if Johnson was on the bag, and if he was on the bag, he's out.
You really couldn't tell if the left foot indeed made contact with the bag.
This, I told you, this half inning might. This replay review is presented by Xfinity. It's all up to whether Kelly Johnson hit the bag.
Yeah, I think he did.
And you would think that where Paul Nauert was, that he might have the best view, unless he was blocked off.
You can't tell from that one.
I mean,
here's the best argument for the Braves.
You know, unless he hit the side of the base with the side of his shoe.
Well, that's what you have to determine.
And now my new favorite word is inclusive.
Yeah. Well, the longer this goes under review, the better chance he has of getting the hit.
I love that word.
Inclusive?
Yeah. Like I said, it's going to be 4-0 no matter what. So they're going to call him out. Panic has no problem with that. He'll end up with a sacrifice.
And an RBI. So a good play as it gets the runner in. It gets the first base runner Span over to second base. And he almost indeed beat it out.
So Span goes down to second. The hitter will be Hunter Pence, and we may see another pitching change.
Or a base on balls. No, they'll pitch to him with Posey on deck.
Pence is 0 for 3.
Tell you know what the definition of a rough earned run is?
When you intentionally walk a guy.
Yeah, Hunter Cervenka came in, had to intentionally walk a guy, came out of the ball game, and that run scores.
Well, then you punch the guy that gave up the run.
Yeah.
Pence chops it foul. Not really. I'm not advocating that. It's not being a good teammate.
Well, Jake Peavy tonight, 7 innings, 1 hit allowed, no walks, 3 strikeouts, allowed 1 base runner that didn't get to second base.
On his birthday.
On his happy birthday.
0-2 to Pence. 1-2 to Pence.
But it was important for Peavy for a number of reasons. The other one is that he needed to have 2 good outings in a row, and now with this outing tonight, he's accomplished that. And he needs that for himself, for his own confidence, for his own belief. And after tonight's performance, believe me, he will believe.
Pence out swinging, and that's going to end the inning. Giants add 3 to their lead. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 4-0. Giants.
By Honda. Jake Peavy is that man tonight. 7 strong innings, 1 hit allowed, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, and oh, by the way, he also did it with the bat. Got ground balls. No Braves runner got to second base off Jake Peavy, and that was his last strikeout. This is the best hit ball against him, and it just got to the warning track in right field. Peavy, who also had a base hit and scored the first run, is our player of the game. Brought to you by Honda.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and brake experts.
So George Cantos takes the ball now from Bruce Bochy. Goes into his 14th game. He's 1-1 with a 4.76 ERA. Cantos with a low 90s fastball. He'll 2 and 4 seam. Curveball, slider, and a changeup. Came up with the Yankees as a starter, where he learned all those movements.
He's facing Flowers, who has the only hit in the game for the Braves. First pitch is down low.
Pitching line for Cervenka, 0 innings officially. 1 run, 1 earned run, and a walk. For Withrow, 1/3 of an inning.
The 1-0 to Flowers. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's a good hard slider right there.
Low. Markakis to follow. And then Kelly Johnson. We're in the 8th. Three and 1.
Canto's very machine-like in his delivery. Just mechanical the way that he starts. Very quiet upper body. Steps, plants. And with a 4-0 lead, he can challenge on that 3-1 fastball and throws it right by Flowers. Flowers, a 5-year veteran. Most of his, well, all of his career prior to this year was with the White Sox. First year in the National League. Matt Duffy stays in the game at third base.
And the walk. Who's Bochy? He's just coming out. So we're going to get a new pitcher. Giants lead 4-0. We'll be back. Live on CSNBarea.com. Log on each week as insider Alex Pavlovich talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and the best part, more. Giants insider Alex Pavlovich on CSNBarea.com. Also available on iTunes. Josh Osich is the new pitcher. As Cantos is taken out of the game.
Osich, the 27-year-old left-hander, 6'2", 230 pounder. This is what he's done in 26 games. 0-1 with a 4.15 ERA. Osich throws hard. Mid to high 90s with velocity, lots of movement. Most of what he throws with the fastball is going to be a two-seam grip. Slider, changeup. And he's a lefty that can get a ground ball.
Markakis is 0 for 2. 2 balls hit in the air to the outfield. Bounces this one. Panic's going to get one to first, and that's what you need. Nice play on the play. Flowers goes to second.
Ball is really exploding out in front of home plate right now. They've patted that area down, and it is hard. So ground balls getting hit are really exploding high. It's the height of this ground ball. Now, as this thing hits here, it's going to jump on you if you're an infielder. It's just a nice expression of good hands from Joe Panik.
Chase Darno is going to be the pinch hitter, and Bruce Bochy's coming out. Bruce Bochy said, well, if Brian Snitker can do it, well, then I'm going to do it too. So Osage gets the one out, and we'll have a new pitcher. 4-0 Giants. The third relief pitcher for Bruce Bochy here in the 8th.
That's going to be Corey Guerin coming into his 24th game. 1-0 with a 2.95 ERA. Guerin, who is a low 90s sinker baller with that high sidearm release, will also give you a slider and a changeup. Guerin, 6'3", 200-pounder. He's 29 years old. Actually 30. Just turned 30. And he's a 3-year veteran and came up with these Atlanta Braves. First got to the big leagues in 2011. Came up through their organization. Was good here before he blew out his elbow. Had to have Tommy John surgery.
Darno takes a pitch inside for a ball, hitting at 327. (16 hits in 49 at bats). He's a shortstop that just came off the DL. 1 ball and no strikes. There's a strike from Guerin, and that evens the count.
Corey Guerin, I mean, you mentioned it. Javier Lopez lives here in the Atlanta area. So does Corey Guerin.
Sleep in your own bed on a road trip. How about that?
Yeah, that's a commodity.
Swing. You're going to miss. 1-2.
That's a good slider. That's as good a slider as he's throwing this road trip.
Got him.
Backed it up. That's what the Giants have been wanting to see from Guerin. A better kill pitch with the slider. And those last two were snappy.
Very snappy. Of course, they're going to be a little snappier coming out of Denver.
Just good location with it too. Yeah, it's tough to get a snappy slider in Denver.
Garcia is bounced out and he hit a ball very deep into right center field that Pence tracked down in front of the wall. Here he takes a strike.
It is a weird thing when you come up to the big leagues, you're in a ballpark with the home team, then you get traded. Now you come back to that ballpark as a visiting player, and it's a different deal.
Never did it. No interleague got me.
Yeah, we did not have interleague, did we, Cards? Well, you got to do it in spring training.
To do it in spring training. Didn't really want to do it in spring training. Meant I had to make that trip to Tucson.
Yeah, it wasn't a big issue when you were in Tucson and you had to make the trip up to the Valley of the Sun.
Yeah. It was only an issue when you had to do it 6 times in a week.
That's an issue.
Right at Panic, and that's going to end the inning. Over 45-minute 8th inning. It remains 4-0 Giants. As we head to the 9th inning. Before the game, Ryan Klesko was here, the former Atlanta Brave, also with the Padres, also with the Giants. Great friend of Bruce Bochy, but you'd figure that Buster Posey would be interested because Klesko was part of that '95 World Championship team, and Buster Posey was a kid.
Buster Posey raised 150 miles away from Atlanta, Leesburg.
Breaking ball from O'Flaherty, and it's 0-1.
I didn't know that exaggeration with talking about Klesko being one of Bochy's all-time favorites.
Swing and a miss. Nothing in 2.
As we got to know Klesko, I mean, he's just a good guy. He's fun. Takes on life and just lives it. Darno goes to shortstop. Beckham goes to second base.
Used to love when they built that new park in San Diego, Petco Park. The fences were deep, the marine layer didn't carry. And Klesko was one of the first guys that every fly ball he hit, he had the Gumby shoulders, like it would have gone out in another park. But not this one.
Oh, yeah. He'd look you in the eye and say, you know, it cost me 70 home runs last year there.
And then, of course, when Klesko retired, they moved the fences in.
Yeah. Which did not go unnoticed.
2-2 to Posey. Got him. On the inside corner, 1 out. And here's Belt. Belt takes a good look at a strike. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
Middle of the Giants' order tonight has really been quiet. Hunter Pence 0 for 4. Posey 0 for 4.
Belt 0 for 3.
0 for 3 with a walk. The guy who has led the charge tonight has been Denard Span. It's great to see his mother came into Atlanta the first day, said she was going to be here for the game, so he's putting on a show for her.
We met his mother first at the town hall. Remember, before the Fan Fest?
Yeah.
Here's Brandon Crawford. Crawford drew a walk in the 8th, and that started the 3-run rally for the Giants. We also realized that Denard Span's mom had a lot of spunk. We kidded her that, you know, we might have to say some things about your son that you don't like, and she said, then you'll have to deal with me.
And she was dead serious.
We were kidding. She wasn't. Crawford fouls it back. 1-2.
He was on that. She came to town with a friend, and they were really excited to get to see Denard play, get to see the Giants play, get out to the yard. And if you're a mom, your son's in the big leagues, you know, you've watched a whole lifetime of baseball.
Low to Crawford, 2-2.
She lives on the East Coast, so it's tough for her to see a lot of games out there in San Francisco. But tonight she's here, and he's putting on a show.
Not a bad town to go to visit your son.
It's a good town.
Crawford rolls this one to Beckham. And that'll end the inning. Bottom of the 9th coming up.
Right after Giants postgame live right here on CSN Bay Area. They'll talk about the Warriors versus the Cavs. They'll give you a little preview. And they'll talk about LeBron James facing the Warriors. Also, the Sharks had to deal with a family tragedy. tragedy. Defenseman Justin Braun's father-in-law passed away before Game 1. I'll tell you about that story and much, much more. Toyota Sportsnet Central, right after Giants Postgame Live.
So we have to deal with that LeBron guy for a while.
That's a good thing.
Daniel Castro is going to pinch hit. Duffy is in at third, and a strike from Guerin, and it's 0-1. See the numbers for Castro, hitting 196. Little bloop. Crawford out. He's going to put it away with the over-the-shoulder catch. 1 out. The old wide receiver play. Bruce Bochy's coming out. And Javier Lopez is coming in. I think this is done for a couple of reasons, Mike. I think he wants to get Lopez back on track.
Absolutely does. It's the whole reason that they got Canto starting last inning as well. They want to give him some confidence.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and brake experts. We'll be back.
Bullpen maintenance.
And there's Javier Lopez.
All right, let's check out his numbers as he comes into his 25th game for Bruce Bochy. Lopez 8 1/3. He's given up 9 hits. He struck out 6. And an opportunity to get back on track.
This is Malik Smith, who's going to look at a strike, and it's 0-1. Smith the hero last night. Tonight he's 0 for 2. Posey made a great play, throwing him on a bunt attempt in the third. There's another strike, and it's 0-2.
Alex Smith thought that was inside. Well, you really get an idea with that last pitch, just what it's like to hit from the left side. Man, he's going to throw that breaking ball, and it's going to start out at you.
The 1-2. Tapped to Lopez. 2 outs. And here's Inciarte. Inciarte is flied out and bounced out twice. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, you really haven't seen many disagreeable looks coming from hitters or pitchers tonight with Alan Porter's strike zone. He's done a nice job.
Hit on the ground to Crawford. Crawford has it, and that's the ball game. So Lopez comes in, he gets the last 2 outs, and this night belonged to 2 guys, and that would be Denard Spand and Jake Peavy.
No, you're right. And Jake Peavy did something very important. He backed up his outing, which he had in his last outing. It was a stellar outing. Tonight he was even better, and to have it back to back, he'll start to really gain confidence from it.
Denard Spand with 3 hits and 2 RBIs, and